Shabbat Shalom thingy in the lower corner. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Temple Beth Or. I'm Rabbi Mark Goldfarb. Pleasure to have you all with us. I'm joined by our cantor, Ariel Goldfarb, our accompanist, Dr. Ray Irwin, and David Youngman, Captain Video, streaming us all out into the ethersphere. Great to have you all with us on this Shabbat. We take this opportunity to come to the end of our week, such as it is. And we keep having these strange weeks, but Shabbat can be a little bit of the rhythm, the guidepost for us during our weeks. With the Shabbat, we are able to break our weeks up. These days that kind of stream one into the other. We have a chance when we come to Friday evening to make it a very different type of evening for us, a different type of time for us. Indeed, that is our challenge. We are called upon to sanctify time. We're really good at sanctifying spaces. Look at our homes and our buildings and all the architecture, or even our sanctuary. We are great at sanctifying space. Time is a little more challenging. But that is what we do on Shabbat. We sanctify this time with rites, with rituals. We celebrate this time with song, with music, with words, and with prayers. I am honored to include in our service this evening our president, Dina Jastrock. One moment while I bring her on for us. Welcome, Madam President.
Hi, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I guess I did well enough last week that the rabbi trusts me to do announcements again this week. So here we are back at the month of May, back to our regular schedule of meetings. Although we cannot meet in person, we are meeting via Zoom. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, we have our online Torah study, and the rabbi has sent us the link in an email. I encourage you to look at the beacon, which came out today online, which lists our calendar for the month. We are still going strong. I also want to remind you that on the weekend of May 15th, we will be having our Shabbaton, although instead of doing it in person and having the brunch and the Shabbat dinner, we will be doing it online, but we will be having our speakers. So I encourage you to check your beacon for all the upcoming events and join us online. Continuing on, we have Torah study tomorrow. Monday, we have Finance Committee meeting. And on Tuesday, I was asked to let you know that the Naughty Ladies, headed by Helene, is still meeting via Zoom. If you want to know how to get onto that, contact Helene. And also on Tuesday is Tea on Tuesdays at 2 with Rabbi Mark. He promises us a new and interesting program every Tuesday on topics that we don't generally get a chance to discuss. And also on Tuesday night, a sisterhood board meeting. Wednesday evening, the religious committee meets, and then that takes us back to Friday, Shabbat, and everything else. I wanted to take this opportunity to bring you up to date on what's going on with the temple and plans to reopen. On Tuesday, Governor Newsom announced his plan to reopen the state. Stage 1 is safety and preparedness, in which the state will build up testing, tracing, PPE, and hospital capacity. Prioritize safety for workers and customers in essential workplaces, and prepare safety guidelines for expanded workforce broken down by industries. Stage 2 involves lower risk workplaces and will gradually allow some lower risk businesses and workplaces to open, adapted for social distancing. It also allows for curbside pickup for retail businesses, reopening manufacturing businesses, and states that office workers may return to in-person settings. It is not until stage 3 that religious services may return to in-person settings, along with lifting restrictions on gatherings, along with using restrictions on gathering sizes and other limits, which has not been set yet, to reopen higher risk workplaces, and salons and gyms may reopen with restrictions, as well as sports without live audiences and movie theaters. Stage 4 is finally the end of the stay-at-home order, allowing highest risk environments to reopen once appropriate treatments are developed as well as live sporting events with fans, concerts, festivals, and conventions. If social distancing pushes down the number of new cases, the governor indicates the second stage could come in a matter of weeks. However, if people persist in gathering without masks, this could cause a delay in the decrease of the number of cases. As well, the risk of reoccurrence needs to be dealt with. Stage 3 thus appears to be potentially several months away. Thus, the ability to hold our High Holy Day services in person is therefore in question. On Tuesday, I will participate in a Zoom conference with other congregational presidents to determine what other congregations are discussing for their services and to discuss ideas and suggestions. The URJ has not yet issued guidelines, as they, like the rest of us, were waiting to see what's happening. On Wednesday, the Religious Committee will hold its regular monthly meeting, at which time this will be discussed as well. I hope to have some ideas from the Tuesday meeting to share. In the meantime, we will continue with Shabbat services streamed on YouTube. I am very grateful to Rabbi, Cantor Ariel, and Ray Irwin, as well as David Youngman, for continuing to stream these services into our homes every week. We will also continue with Torah study via Zoom on Saturday morning at 10:30 and tea on Tuesday at 2 with Rabbi, also via Zoom. Rabbi has some interesting topics and film clips in mind to share on Tuesday, topics that we don't generally have a chance to delve into. The committees are all continuing meetings and laying out plans for carrying on online. There is a possibility that the start of the religious school year may continue online, and plans are being made for what may be needed when the students are able to return in person. As well, the board is working together to determine the same and what needs to be done about providing hand sanitizer, masks, and following social distancing recommendations. These are all works in progress. Rest assured that although the temple building is closed, the work of the temple is ongoing. We are more than a building. We are the community of Temple Bethel. In the meantime, we can be grateful for modern technology and staff who know how to utilize it, keeping us all in touch. Again, many thanks to Rabbi David Youngman and Phil Carey for keeping this up and running and enabling us to visit, albeit long distance. The last bit of good news is that as long as the building is not being used, the beautification project for the social hall is scheduled to begin at any time. Many thanks to Sherry Health. This really gives us something to look forward to when the building is reopened and we are all able to return in person. I look forward to seeing you all again in person. In the meantime, please stay well. Wear a mask when you go out, wash your hands, and know you are all important members of our Temple Bethor family. Until we meet again, Shabbat Shalom. And because we were not able to show this while I was talking, I want to thank Dr. Jeffrey and Susan Winston, who are sponsoring the virtual flowers tonight in honor of their 2-month-old granddaughter, Mara Sophia Winston. Mazel tov. Thank you all. Enjoy the services.
Thank you very much, Dina. Glad to have you with us. All of our love to you and Chris. Shabbat Shalom to you guys. I'll let you go and join us on our YouTube channel while we continue with our service. And I will say goodbye to you here at Zoom. Thank you again for sharing all those announcements. As Dina mentioned, we have a virtual flower sponsorship this evening. And so, again, we are grateful to Dr. Jeffrey and Susan Winston, who have sponsored the flowers. You see the flowers there in the lower left-hand corner of your screen in honor of their 2-month-old granddaughter, Mara Sophia Winston. And there she is in her pink outfit, just all tucked away there. David, we got a full shot of this one for everybody to see? Great, excellent. Thank you very much. You will see the flowers during our worship service on the slides. And so for those who would like to sponsor flowers, please feel free to do so. You can contact Marian Gasser as we do regularly, or just give the office a call if you don't know how to go about reaching Marian, and we'll put you in touch. With that, we continue with our Shabbat service. We are young, our experience is few. We are older, veterans of life's teachings. We have endured great adversity. We have been untouched by tragedy. We are married, we are single. We are of many varied traditions. We are different from one another, and yet we are one. Having traveled many different roads, our separate journeys have led us all to this very sacred space in our lives. As united by tradition and by faith, we raise our voices in celebration and in song. We begin with words from Psalms, a song for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat. Wonderful, beautiful cantor. Thank you very much. Perhaps maybe we'll have you do the honors of lighting our candles when we get to that part. May the rest and quiet of this Shabbat, of this hour of worship, refresh our inner life and renew in us a sense of holiness. Fill our hearts with Shabbat peace and serenity, that we may hear the voice in our innermost soul, and be moved to build our lives on the abiding foundations of all that is holy. That is what Shabbat must be for us, not to tear the world apart, not to wrestle with time, but rather to let warmth and care and light come forth from deep within ourselves. These candles represent our setting aside this holy time. Their light illumines our innermost selves. Their brightness is a reminder of our constant hope.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. We praise you, Adonai our God, source of all being, who calls us to holy acts through mitzvot and inspires us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And in keeping with our tradition of our new Zoom services, our streaming of our services, since we do not have a noneg afterwards to do our Kiddush, we will turn now to our Kiddush. If you have a glass of wine or a glass of juice nearby you, now would be a time to go ahead and pour that and make that ready for you as we join with our cantor in the singing of our Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava uvratzon inchilanu, zikaron lema'asei v'reshit, ki hu yom tehila lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher letziyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim, v'shalom.
Speaking and listening are both endangered activities in our culture. There is so much information exchanged each day and at each hour that it is hard to pay attention to our speech. Are we saying what we really need to say? Are we speaking from the heart? Do we know when not to speak? And as for listening, who can hear anything amid all the noise around us these days? Even these days when we are quarantining at home, there's still a flood of information on the news and on our websites, and all of these activities are bombarding us with all of these messages. There is such a flood of messages coming in. How can we discern which are important or even holy? In prayer, we speak from the heart. It does not matter if we are sure who is listening, if we don't understand how prayer is supposed to work, if we're not certain we believe in prayer at all. For moments at a time, we can set our questions aside and just say what we need to say. What a relief to be able to speak as loudly as we want or as softly. without worrying about being understood, without anticipating the other's response. Jewish practice gives us rich ways to speak and to listen. When we need to speak to God, when we are too filled with joy or with despair to hear anything but what is in our own heart, then it is time to pray. We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvanah meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamyid yimlo chalenu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We'll try this. If you'd like to read responsively with me, we'd welcome you to do so. Let us imagine a world without color, without regal red or leafy green, a world that bores the eye with gray.
Praise to you, God, for all the colors in the rainbow, for eyes that are made for seeing, and for beauty that is its own excuse for being.
Let us imagine a world without sound, a world where deathly silence covers the earth like a shroud.
Praise to you, God, for words that speak to our minds, for songs that lift our spirits, and for all those souls who know how to listen.
Let us imagine a world without order, where no one can predict the length of the day or the flow of the tide.
Imagine a universe where planets leave their orbits and soar like meteors through the heavens, and where the law of gravity is repealed at random.
Praise to you, God, for the marvelous order of nature, from stars in the sky to particles in the atom.
Let us imagine a world without love, a world in which the human spirit, incapable of caring, is locked in the prison of the self.
Praise to you, God, for the capacity to feel happiness in another's happiness and pain in another's pain.
As the universe whispers of a oneness behind all that is, so the love in the human heart calls on people everywhere to unite us in pursuit of those ideals that make us human.
As we sing of one God, we rejoice in the wonder of the universe, and we pray for that day when all humanity will be one.
still a voice that you will hear if you listen. Listen to our God. You can hear it from the top of the highest hill or from the valley below. It can come from the edge of the universe. It can come from within your soul. Close your eyes and listen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Leolam Va'ed. Listen, listen to our God. Listen, listen to our God. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha v'nibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshochbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihyot lachem lelohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Again, I invite us to read responsively. Look back from where we have come. The path was at times an open road of joy.
At others, a steep and bitter track of stones and pain.
How could we know the joy without the suffering?
And how could we endure the suffering, but that we are warmed and carried on the breast of God?
We are God's children, created in God's image, made for love and laughter, caring and sharing. I am filled with hope for the future.
In spite of much to the contrary, the world is becoming a kinder, safer place.
It is God's world. God's gifts of goodness and kindness, reason and understanding, science and discovery are showered upon us.
Revel in these gifts, enjoy them, share them, and the world will become a highway of peace and prosperity for all.
Again, let us read responsively. Help us, O God, to lie down in peace, but teach us that peace means more than quiet.
Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day.
Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep.
Rid us of resentments and hatreds that rob us of the peace we crave.
Liberate us from enslaving habits that disturb us and give us no rest.
May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit by another's loss.
May we so live that we can face the whole world with serenity.
May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day.
May we lie down in peace tonight, O God, and awaken tomorrow to a richer and fuller life. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. Those who keep Shabbat, calling it a delight, will rejoice in your realm. Yismechu, Yismechu v'malachutcha.
Shabbat, kulam yisbeu, veitangu mitu v'chashabat, yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, yismechu v'malechutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei, oneg Shabbat, v'hashvi'i Shabbat. Zecher Lemase Bereshit Shabbat. Zecher Lemase Bereshit Shabbat. Yismechu B'malachutecha Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat. Yismechu B'malachutecha Shomrei Shabbat V'korei Oneg Shabbat.
Let us invoke our ancestors, both the spiritual and the genetic, for we are the sole reason for their existence. Let us invoke the children and their children, for they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and rivers and this great earth, and acknowledge our intimacy and our codependency with all things sentient and insentient on this planet. Let us reflect that the gift of life is more fragile than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. And then let us promise and let us vow. Let us vow to heal and to nourish. Let us vow to love and to share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage. And let us vow to manifest peace and joy with wisdom and with compassion. We continue with the words of our tefillah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot Ve'imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechaye HaKolata Rav Lehoshia Morid HaTal Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Nemunato Lishenei Afar Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot Umido Melach Melech Memit Umechaya Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'emanata L'hachayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaKol ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha sela Baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Life without integrity is like loosely hanging threads, easily fraying from the main cloth. While in acts of piety, we learn to understand that every instant is like a thread, raveling out of eternity to form a delicate tassel. We must not cast off the threads, but instead weave them into the design of an eternal fabric. Each day points to eternity. The fate of all time depends upon a single moment. A Cherokee elder was sitting with his grandson, talking about life. He said to his grandson, "There are two wolves fighting inside me all the time. The good wolf fights for love and honesty and compassion. The bad wolf fights for hatred and jealousy and greed." As he spoke, his grandson's eyes grew larger and larger. "Grandfather," he asked, "which wolf will win?" The elder paused for a moment and said, "The one I feed."
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We want to include all in our prayers for peace and wholeness, shalom, including those whose very sense of shalom, whose sense of wholeness has been shattered due to the challenges that they are facing, challenges to their health, to their bodies, to their minds. So I begin our Misha Berach prayer with a special prayer for our medical caregivers. Misha Berach Avotenu V'Imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick. Our physicians and nurses, our orderlies, our patient transporters, hospital cleaning staff, security guards, technicians, home health aides, EMTs, and pharmacists. All who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. May they be blessed in their coming home, and may they be blessed in their going out. May the sacred word of their hands be blessed, and may they bring strength and healing to all those that they serve. We include those members of our congregation, their family and friends who are facing challenges to their health and to their well-being. May the knowledge of your presence help ease their fear, sustain them, and give them strength. And may the time come soon when they and all of us can breathe without fear. Baruch atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need, as I invite you to share aloud the name of a loved one you would like to include, one who is in need of this blessing of extra shalom, wholeness, and contentment, peace, and well-being. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
This week's Torah portion brings us to two very interesting Torah portions. We'll spend time talking tomorrow morning about the first one and hopefully the second one as well. There are two Torah portions that have been put together. Achremot and Kedoshim are put together in this week. There are two combined this year. We have several Torah portions that get combined when we have a year that does not have a leap month in it. When we do have that leap month, those joined Torah portions are separated. That way we can fill the entire week with Torah portions. But Kedoshim is perhaps the most important section of all of our Torah. It occurs, not coincidentally, almost in the middle of the Torah, Leviticus chapter 19. And it is known as the Kedoshim. It is known as the Holiness Code. In this verse, we find references and teachings and commandments about what it means to be holy. And at the outset, we might assume that being holy would be with regards to ritual items that we would observe, kashrut, holidays, those kinds of things. And then when we start reading the section known as Kedoshim, we find that those ritual items occupy a few verses. Yes, those are important. But most of the verses deal with how we treat one another. Holiness is not something that is relegated only to the sanctuary, only to the temple, synagogue building itself. No, holiness, Kedoshim, are things we do out in the street. For instance, back in the days when we would harvest our fields, your fields were perhaps a square or a rectangle, but in Kedoshim we learn that we have to leave the corners of our field for the hungry, who have there gathered, waiting for us to harvest our section of the land. Not all of it, not in its entirety. We leave stuff for those when we are done so that they would have access to foodstuffs. We read in this section known as the Holiness Code, we read such commandments as being honest, of course, living a life of integrity, absolutely. We have a couple of curious phrases. One of them, do not put a stumbling block before the blind. There's a blind person walking down the street, don't kick a box out in front of them. Surely the Torah means more than that, which of course is what our rabbis teach us. It's not just about not tripping a blind person. Who are those who are blind, they ask? Those who cannot see, but also those who cannot see the truth of something. So this then extends to honesty in business transactions. You know something about this item you're selling. The buyer does not. According to Jewish law, you must reveal all of the items, all of the truths about this item that you are selling, because the buyer is blind to that. There are also those who cannot see, who cannot comprehend, our rabbis teach us. And so to not put a stumbling block before the blind means that if you have somebody who has difficulty in comprehending something, we must make sure that the wording or the description or how we are speaking to them is presented in such a way that they can understand it. Do not insult the deaf, we read in the book of Kedoshim and in this book of Leviticus in this section of Kedoshim. Do not insult a deaf person. There's a deaf person, you don't shout obscenities at him. Well, of course, that's certainly the surface reading of our verse, but our rabbis take it even deeper than that. Who are deaf, they say? Those who cannot hear because they are not present. So do not insult the deaf, as it is written in Kedoshim, means don't gossip about another person because they are not there. They are deaf and to what you are saying because they are not physically present. There are also those who are deaf because they are unable to hear. And so do not insult them by speaking at them or by shouting at them. Instead, find ways to communicate to them in the ways that they can understand, whether that is in writing or by sign language. We sang Listen tonight, and thanks to Susan Carey and her help, many of our congregants know how to sign Listen. And so we have the opportunity to engage those who are not able to hear because we are able to sign those important words. These are just two of the verses in this week's Torah portion, but Rabbi Akiba finds in this week's Torah portion, Kedoshim, the ultimate commandment of them all. Some of our rabbis teach that there are 613 mitzvot, 365 negatives, 365 thou shalt not do's, and 248 positives, 248 thou shalt do. You put those two numbers together, 365 plus 248, 613. 365, 365 days in the year. So there is something we should refrain from doing every single day. And at the end of the year, we will have completed those 365 do not do's. And there is something positive we should do with 248. That was the identifiable parts of the human body to our rabbis. And so there's something positive we should do with every part of our body. We should speak kindness. We should do good deeds with our hands. 365. Rabbi Akiva says, nope, there's really only one. It all comes down to this one, found in Kedoshim, found in Leviticus chapter 19. And interestingly enough, this verse is verse 18. Chai. Coincidence? I think not. The verse is, V'hafta l'reacha kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. Rabbi Akiva says this is the ultimate commandment in the entire Torah. Love your neighbor who is like you. Love your neighbor who, like you, love yourself. Love your neighbor. Such a difficult thing for us to show to our neighbors who are sometimes strangers. We seldom see them or even talk to them. Someone down the street, we don't even wave to them. Maybe now, as we are all engaged in our acts of not only social distancing, but self-quarantining at home, I have been waving at all of my neighbors and asking them, everybody okay? Do you need anything? Just sort of checking in with them, just as I would hope someone would want to check in with me. This is one way in which we might be able to show that love of neighbor. This is perhaps our biggest and most difficult challenge to us in modern times. We expect that everybody has someone watching over them. We expect that everybody has somebody taking care of someone else. And yet we know that there are many who do not. And so one way of loving your neighbor is to check on your neighbors, perhaps this weekend. If you have not seen them in a while, knock on their door. Step back from the door after you knock on that. Give them that distance. Wear your mask when you go and knock on the door. Slip them a note. Just checking on you, making sure, do you need anything? Slip them a note in their mailbox. Slip them a note under their door. Let's find ways to live what Rabbi Akiva says is the most important mitzvah of them all. Love your neighbor who is like you. Shabbat Shalom. We want to acknowledge this is our first Friday in the month of May. May Day. No, it is happy occasions we want to celebrate. Happy anniversary and birthdays. Indeed, we have a number of anniversaries I wish to note that are celebrated this very month, the month of May. We have Albert and Eunice Roebuck, Morris and Evelyn Spaber, David and Karen Sane, Toby and Dana Porter, David and Sandra Scharf, Bob and Rita Rubin, Dr. Michael and Debbie Rudolph. Happy anniversary to those of you who I know are celebrating anniversaries. My apologies to any of those who are celebrating anniversaries that we may have missed. If we did so, please let the office know so we can correct that for the future. And birthdays during the month of May. We have happy birthday going out to Lori Rosenfeld, Peter Gelmini, Evelyn Zucker, Janet Feldman, Fran Benvenisti, Helene Moss, Mackenzie Morris, Sophia Galvin, Harry Fox, Alisa Rose, Marion Gasser, Sherry Held, Hannah Green, Alec LeBeau, Eddie Goldstein, Ryan Morris, Bobby Hirschbein, Wilma Shear, Kathy Rudd, Sandra Block, Barry Block, Cynthia Tessler, Joseph Horowitz, Nancy Griffin, Adrian Berger, Art Hess, Sue Rubin, Jeff Shear, Lorraine Stein, Charlene Brotman, Mark Bornstein, Michael Sugarman, Doug Kotkin, and Avia Askenazi. Wow. Happy birthday to those of you in the month of May. Those of you who are burning a mortgage, making your final car payment, those who are also celebrating happy events, we rejoice with you as well with the words of our Shehechianu, our prayer of gratitude, thanking God for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this day. Mazel tov to you all.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu vekimanu vehigiyanu lazman hazeh.
Once again, mazel tov to our birthday and our anniversary people this month. Happy birthday, happy anniversary. Hopefully soon we will be able to celebrate with you in person. We move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of our Aleinu, the words of our adoration.
Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, ve'lo zamanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and our memories and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim period. Walda Mantel, cousin of Shari Rosen, Wilma Davis, the wife of Barry Davis, Adam Marcus, nephew of Eddie and Celia Goldstein, and David Post, cousin of Ted LeVoot and Howard LeVoot. And we add most recently as well, Tyler Jason Gordon, the great-grandson of Allegra Gordon, and Celia Atun, sister-in-law of Allegra Gordon. And Allegra, our hearts go out to you in the immediacy of your loss. To those names, we link the names of those whose yahrzeits have occurred during this past week. Charles Dengrove, Abraham Goldberg, Betty Goldberg, Alice Achman, Anna Streisand, Arthur Tarnopol, Rabbi Ken Weiss, Marjorie Asness, Don Ripley, Diana Gimbel, Betty Maltz Kurtzman, Gloria Altman, Marcy Jean Norton, Maxine Brown, Jacob Cohen, Max Lehman, Harriet Siegel, Joe Griffin, Maurice Haber, Miriam Sussman, Ruth Shadrow, Nina Levin, Dorit Phillips, Stephen Philip Brotman, Lena Winger, Beth Jacoby Deitch, Maisie E. Brightman, Evelyn Levoot, Robert Lutsky, Louis D. Frank, and Goldie Krotinger. To those names, we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Irving Drobny, Bernard Beskin, Nancy Zinberg, Howard Brookfield, Eric Lertzman, Sandra Lertzman, Michael Lertzman, Paula Marcus, Don Kessler, Catherine O'Salisbury, George Sachs, Adrian Henschel, Murray Gimbel, Margaret Hershkowitz, Dr. Gerhard Pascas, Jerry Robinson, Rebecca Lomelli, Dwayne Craven, Cynthia Algra, Gloria Delatorre Wyckoff, Agnes Fuchs, Edward Weil, and Nat Krotinger. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name aloud at this time. To those that we have named aloud and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, the members of our police, our firefighters, other first responders, and those in the medical arts who have given their lives in fighting this deadly COVID-19 pandemic. Lastly, we include the names and memories of the men and women of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing as we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye decho Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shemed kudesha berichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's presence a source of strength, courage, and hope, above all a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, Amen. We conclude our service time together with the words, those final words from the Kaddish. Say shalom bimromav. May the one who makes peace in the high heavens give us the strength and the courage to make peace here in this world and in our lifetime. And I invite you, if you are with friends, to hold hands or touch elbows with those nearby you. Those of you who are not with friends, you are with us, and we give you a virtual hug and put our arms around you virtually as we make for ourselves a link of shalom to take us into the week ahead. Oh, say shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Cantor, thank you very much. Dr. Ray Irwin, thank you as well. Be safe, be calm, wash your hands. David Youngman, thank you very much for streaming for us. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a safe Shabbat. Stay healthy, rest well, be safe, be calm. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.